Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death and destruction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred.
Hey guys, it's Fox here, and we are going to be doing something new. I'm going to be showing you guys my first ever settlement tour. Now, I've been working for about a week to make this settlement as nice as possible, and I've come to call it the Red Rocket Co-Op. In my game, the Minutemen have taken over Nuka World. I should say, I've taken over Nuka World. I didn't realize that there was... that's not what I wanted to do. I hadn't realized that there was a mod to have the Minutemen take over Nuka World until after I took over Nuka World. So, I just built this in my own idea of the Minutemen are going to be giving the traders of Nuka World a place to work and live safely away from the constant threat of raids. As you can see here, they still show up. Now, going in through the one of two front gates, there's this gate, and on the other side there is another. We open up to see quite the picture of living here in Nuka World. I've put in dragon's teeth to prevent people from bringing in Brahmin carts and cluttering up the settlement. Now, the Minutemen have multiple men on patrol here, such as this guy here with his laser rifle. I've built these, I've used these towers from a Creation Club mod called Settlement Defense to work on these walls. I positioned my Minuteman sniper up here. He stands vigilant, and he's got his lunch here. Now, what's cool about these walls from the Creation Club is they actually allow you to put these little platforms on. And they allow you to build ramparts, essentially, for your guards to walk back and forth across. Now, of course, there's no pathing. Once you assign a guard to one of these towers, they just kind of stay in that tower. So we're going to walk down these stairs here and go straight up to the bar. Now, I've kind of used an almost Wild West style of bar here. We got the dartboard, the cigarette machine. We've got these little cutouts that I've taken from, I forget the name of the park. That one. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. But I built up a little bar here where somebody is playing some solitaire. Shut up for now, Travis. This lady here, wearing her lovely but odd suit, mans the bar. We've recovered a fat man and made it into a shelf. Hopefully somebody doesn't just pull the trigger and launch all the alcohol right into a wall. Someone was enjoying some noodles here. Moving on to the main building. As you can see here, the signs that point to information and the first aid station, which I've turned the garage of this Red Rocket, people just don't know how to close doors apparently, into the first aid section. I don't know where the Minuteman doctor is. She should be around here somewhere. But going in through here and closing all the goddamn doors, we have the medical station, where we have some x-rays, some medical posters, and the medicine, or the beds that are used for rest and recovery. We actually have somebody that just sleeps in here. Got some medications stored right here. First aid, CPR on the wall. A place for washing off those who are extremely bloodied. And sticking with the theme of Nuka World, we have a nice little Nuka-Cola cooling fridge for those who are going to be waiting to get a job here at the Minuteman Co-op. We've got the senior officer standing here, ready with his clipboard. He also provides some snacks for people who are waiting. With a revolver holstered at his hip. Now, this was a gas station outside of a theme park, so I put some arcade machines to emulate sort of an old 7-Eleven. Coffee on the floor, and in here is the mayor's office, whereas he's got his wet bar.
If you work, you eat. It's as simple as that.
And where he does his taxes and gives out the payments for those who are working here. Lovely. Now, leaving this room and closing the door, we have our pet flamingo just chilling on the wall here. We have the power source of the settlement, an old military APC. The axles are locked, so we can't move it, but the engine still runs, and we're using that to power the settlement. Got the control panel here. I'm going to hold off on showing the houses for a little bit. I'm going to show you the water purification station and the upstairs workshop. Now in here we have the water pumps, controlled by our definitely trained specialist here, who makes sure that all the water is well purified. Heading up the stairs, we've got our workshop, where you can modify your weapons and your armor. And this door leads right onto the ramparts. Now this is something that kind of inspired me to build this the way that it's built. Close that door. While going through some of the mods that I have, I found the chassis of an old car heading out through the second front gate. I found the chassis of an old car, and I thought that would be pretty interesting to make it into a Brahmin cart. I don't know where the Brahmin went. Brahmin's just been missing for the past couple of days. But a Brahmin cart to carry supplies to and from Nuka World, to Nuka Town, to the co-op, to the commonwealth. We got a seat for the driver, and a lantern just in case he needs to stop and fix something. Now I'm sure you've noticed the towering structure over there. Heading back inside and closing the gate behind me. Something some people don't do. This towering structure is the local Minutemen barracks, where the Minutemen have their own little workstation. They got their armor and weaponsmith, some Nuka power armor that we've recovered from the World of Refreshment, some tools on the wall, and a nice little bunk area. Very cramped, but it's enough. Some personal belongings, books, and a little statue. An ashtray made of the head of a synth. And this cool little music player that works, but has physics. I only learned that when I walked in here and I found it upside down on the ground. Now, heading upstairs, we have this lady who is armed with a minigun. With good reason, because she is guarding the Minuteman Armory, where we have lockers of ammunition, a harpoon gun, ready and waiting, and a wide assortment of firearms, as well as melee weapons in an umbrella box, whatever that thing is called. Umbrella holder. We've got Browning high powers, 45 caliber 1911s, 10mm pistols, shotguns, laser rifles, assault rifles, combat rifles, hunting rifles, and armor. We've got two different kinds. We got the standard Minuteman military uniform, and we have the heavy combat armor, ready and waiting for a Minuteman to come and put it on. Closing the armory behind us. And the key is sitting here, waiting for this Minuteman to unlock the door. Heading upstairs, we have some defenses in our towers, as well as our in-house sniper. Got plenty of ways to outlook over the settlement, just in case somebody gets in. Looking out towards the cat barn, as I call it. And then this small wreck of what used to be a mansion, where nothing but enemies spawn. Hence why I built this tall tower with these missile launcher turrets. Because as soon as enemies spawn, these things just light up that tower, as you can see by the impact holes on the walls. Here we have yet another Minuteman, who's wearing her classic Brody helmet. Got a rather red face. I'm hoping it's sunburn and not just alcoholism. Drunk Minuteman just won't do. We've got our water tower for storing all of the water that we produce. A small storage area, which I have not furnished. Heading along the wall, you can see some small living quarters. I imagine, jumping off the wall, that this is more or less for somebody who does not work in the farms, so has not yet earned an actual house. So they've built out of scrap that they found a small hovel. Got this van that was stuck here since before the war. Heading this direction, towards the more living quarters, we have our first home. Now this person fancies themselves a writer. Heading inside, you can see rather lavish living quarters, with a nice writing nook, file cabinet for anything they've written, books, newspapers, and a nice sleeping quarters with a curtain to pull shut, just in case you need a little bit more privacy when you're asleep. Hang out the door, getting smacked in the face. We have the mayor's house, as well as another high-class living quarters. Going inside and shutting the door behind us, we turn right to go into the bedroom, whereas they have a nice cabinet, suitcase, a nice bed. Out here we have a little dining table with some donuts and coffee. We have the living quarters, where they're reading some science fiction novels, such as Communists from Space. And a nice little gaming nook. Apparently they enjoy their pre-war holotape games. And a dresser for storing their personal belongings. Heading out and up the stairs, we come to the mayor's living quarters, where we can see little glimpses of the mayor's history as a hunter who has slightly lost it. We've got their rather nice couch and armchair with a game of poker going on, a wet bar, a rather interesting case for cooling off your alcohol, and a rather nice bedroom. You got your scenic painting here, a safe for his personal belongings, a table for... I don't want to know what that table's for. And up here, he's got some of his personal belongings, such as a rifle. Now on the roof, since it is a pre-war building, I can't imagine the structural integrity is all that great anymore. So what I've placed up here is rainwater collection tubs to collect rain whenever it rains, as rare as that may be, seeing as Nuka World is a rather dry place. Heading back down the stairs, we can walk past one of my Minutemen guards, who's going to go to another tower, I guess. I suppose I was wrong when I said that they don't walk around. And he comes back. Now in here is the home of that lead officer, main Minuteman officer. Whereas he sits down and writes his reports. He's got his own little filing cabinet, a couch with Sun Tzu's The Art of War on the table. Some curtains covering up his bed, a cabinet, and a little reading nook for if he wants the nighttime reading. A nice home for an officer. Getting back out and closing the door, we can walk past a little planter, past another guard post, to another nice little living quarters, where they got a shelf full of knickknacks, a Nuka chair, a bookcase, a couch, and bed. Some rather scarce living, but I suppose if you're living out here, you're working most of the time, so you're not going to have that many personal belongings. We have a nice Nuka-Cola refreshment stand with some Nuka-Cola and some rather questionable meats there. Not entirely sure what that is. But moving on, we have a little newsstand for those who wish to have their nighttime reading. And in this bus, which I use for a wall, we've got some hobo living quarters. Some people have stored their clothing their chalk and their dirty mattress here. Some nice candles to light the front of the bus up. And a small sleeping bag over here. Oh. Oh, hello there. Backing away. We've got some more living quarters. Everybody has their own personal home. So opening up the door here, we have the home of a nice couple who decided they wanted to have matching sleeping bags, so I suppose they bought that from Nuka town. They've got their nice little souvenir section on their counter. Small table for eating. A telephone chair to kick off their shoes at night. A place to hang their umbrella and gas mask. You never know with those rad storms. Opening the door and heading out. We're gonna head to the left. To see one of the final living quarters, which is the home of a handyman. They've got their Special Forces handbook. They must be X-Men men. They've got some energy weapons here and some grenades. And some tools for working on those energy weapons. You never know what you might need. Heading out and slamming the door in my face. We'll walk under the canopy of this old Red Rocket station, where we have a nice little picnic table with a cake. Don't know where they got that cake. Don't want to know where they got that cake. But we have here a little storage shed, whereas they bring in their supplies, and somebody has been sleeping in here, and I'm not afraid to say that I have, while building, this has been my home. General has to live somewhere. Heading past the water station and the little pallets of supplies that we have here, we have the bathhouse. I'm sure you've noticed that there hasn't been any toilets in any of these homes, so the people that work here share a bathroom. Little communal bathroom with sinks with working water. Sometimes. Some toilet paper, toothpaste, soap, little showers, a bigger shower, some cleaning supplies, and toilets. Somebody left their bathrobe here. I can imagine they have to have somebody that keeps this rather clean. Walking past the Minuteman barracks, we open up this door for the laundromat. You've also noticed the clean clothes that some of these settlers are wearing, so you gotta have some place to clean them up. We've managed to drag some washing machines here from Bradburton and get them up and running. Somebody's been busy putting their clothes in little baskets and getting them clean. It's a rather decent commodity, for if you have to say so yourself. Nice poster and a fire extinguisher. So who the hell knows how well these machines have been kept. Figure 200 years after the apocalypse, I don't think many people know how to check the lint filter. Now that was the interior of the Red Rocket station. Our Red Rocket Co-Op. Now, like I said, in my game, the Minutemen have taken over. Now, without mods, it was just me fighting off wave upon wave of raiders. The pack, the disciples, and the operators. But, in my own head, the Minutemen set up a staging area to essentially take over Nuka World. Now, some of the Minutemen guards that you saw either in the towers or in the barracks aren't supposed to be stationed here, but there's typically a guard. The one with the Brody helmet is supposed to be sitting right up there. Now this I built sparsely because my game started to really hit the shitter. But we've got turrets, we've got a nice tower. The turrets are a deterrent to keep anybody from charging the position. We've got a Minuteman tank. A pre-war tank, which we got working at one of our workshops. We got this thing to crawl here at however fast these old pre-war treads will move it. And we have set up a turret in the commander's station to fire machine guns at anyone that approaches. The cannons are pointed straight towards the Kitty Kingdom, but are able to shell all the way to Nuka Town, USA. Got our tire barricades and barbed wire, as well as the Minutemen flag flying proudly over the camp. Now before we head into the Quinniset hut, we've got the mess hall of sorts, where meat is chopped up and the food is prepared for the Minutemen troops. Past the small campfire, we head into the Quinniset hut. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. We have these sparsely decorated barracks. As you figure, these Minutemen are constantly out on patrol, making sure that there's no raiders going on. There's only a few people that are ever off duty. We got one who was enjoying some nice breakfast and playing some checkers. We've got the Minutemen command table here, and the power supply for the small camp. Oh, here's a doctor. I don't know why she's here. I'll be honest, this girl looks like she's been hitting her own supply, so we're gonna walk away from now. Now, as nighttime approaches, I'm gonna sleep for a bit to get people to move to their stations, and show you this at night. Now heading out of the Quinniset hut, we have our rather well-lit Minutemen camp, with the campfire, searchlight, and some lanterns hanging. We walk out this way, past the farm where the workers are still hard at work. Got our varied selection of people who have taken their hats from Dry Rock Gulch. That's the name of the place. Dry Rock Gulch. We got our very happy ghoul settler here. Walking past the Brahmin pens and seeing the guards are still standing vigilant at their post. And the gate just... Well, okay then. Excuse me, sir, I would appreciate it if you didn't slam the door in my face. I guess he's going to go speak with the officer. I've used these Nuka Town street lights to light up the streets of this little camp. Figure they fit rather nicely. Okay, so that guy is not visiting the officer's in his post. So the officer's gonna have quite the surprise when he gets home. Now heading over this way, we've got some oil lamps lighting up the way. And we head into our bar, which is well lit with strings of lights, where you can see all the different decorations, such as the cutlery chimes and the nice neon cat. Turn the radio back on. There's the doctor. She's finally figured out that it's time to go home, but I suppose she can hit a drink first. You see some of the Minutemen guards heading over to the barracks, and the officer heading home. This has been the tour of my Nuka Co-Op. My Red Rocket Co-Op. Hello. A place for the traders of Nuka World to come, live, and work under the protection of the Minutemen. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to put any artillery in here, otherwise I would. The game just doesn't allow it, so I suppose I had to settle with the tank. If you enjoyed this look, hello Mayor, how are you doing? If you enjoyed this look at the settlement and you want to see more, say so in the comment section below. I honestly have a whole hell of a lot of fun building these settlements. I typically have to come up with a theme, so if you guys have any ideas, say so down below. If you want to see more, click that subscribe button. Stay up to date with all things that I post. Fallout, Battlefield, State of Decay, all things under the sun. And I'll see you guys in the next one.